SpaceX Starlink, and the cosmic fires of California. Let's get into it. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much once again joining me for tea time today. We have a little bit of fireside, that smokiness. Perfect for this topic today. So I hope you're joining me with your cup of tea, maybe a cup of coffee, hanging out, talking tech, talking photo, talking video. Today is a technology day. We're going to be talking about SpaceX, Starlink, Elon Musk, climate change, Bernie Sanders, all kinds of stuff. I was reading an article. It's kind of not the norm that I do on this channel, but it does have to do with Elon Musk and what he's doing and how he's giving back. Now, before I get into it, I just want to say that the topic is a little bit polarizing, so don't get panties in a bunch. It's okay. We're just having a discussion. Matter of fact, it's Friday. Friday is Free Speech Friday on JC Live. So if you are around, join me tonight, all right, for JC Live and the Free Speech Friday. Before we get too deep into the woods, see where I went there. I just want to say that if you enjoy the content, throw it a thumbs up. If you absolutely hated it, throw a thumbs down. That would be fantastic. I would really appreciate that. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not already. If you are, thank you. I appreciate that also. Click this little notification button here so when I go live or when a new video comes out, you'll be notified of it immediately. If you haven't downloaded any of my ebooks, they are free just for you being here. Go to JCristina.com/books. Once again, JCristina.com/books. And if you want to say thank you for all of my hard work on this channel, there's a little thank you button right down here. Give $1 or $2 if you like. If not, it's perfectly fine. The video is still free. Consider becoming a member of the channel. That would be even better. And finally, if you want more specific SpaceX Starlink topics, I have 400 that I've put together, 400 videos just for you. I put them into a playlist. I'll put a link here. Don't click yet. I'll put a link right here. Go and check that out. Helpful how-tos, tips, tricks, what to do, what not to do, what to buy, what not to buy, all type of commentary, and of course the why behind everything, because this channel has always been and always will be about the why. So now that we're done with that, let me get into this article. I will give you my commentary, my thoughts on it. Once again, it might be a little polarizing. I'm all right with that, okay? Just say that you like it or you don't like it. You're on this side or you're on that side. It really doesn't matter, all right? These are just feelings. They're just thoughts, right? Everyone has a thought. Everyone has an opinion, a feeling. They're kind of like belly buttons, right? So let's dive right into this. The article starts out by saying wildfires in California, Elon Musk's effort, and climate change. The California firestorm. California is battling yet another catastrophic wildfire season, with fires raging across the state. The firefighting teams are overwhelmed, confronting relentless winds and drought conditions that have turned the landscape into a tinderbox. That is a very good point. Keep that in mind. Elon Musk's response. Elon Musk, the tech visionary, has once again stepped up to where politicians fail. He's utilizing SpaceX Starlink to provide critical internet connectivity in the fire-ravaged areas, facilitating emergency communications and coordination. In the past disasters, like the aftermath of Hurricane Maria of Puerto Rico, Musk offered Tesla's Powerwalls to restore power, showcasing his commitment when traditional systems collapse. Musk's history of aid. Musk's disaster aid isn't a one-off. He donated $1 million during the 2017 California wildfires and proposed innovative solutions like using the Boring Company's tech for firefighting in Australia in 2019 brush fires. Bernie Sanders and climate change claims. Senator Bernie Sanders continues to blame these fires on climate change, insisting it's all due to human-induced global warming. The narrative is not just simplistic, it's misleading. Countering the climate narrative. Water management in California. The real culprit is California's water policies, diverting water from the north to the south, drying out ecosystems, a problem long before climate change was a buzzword. Controlled burn prevention. Government agencies have stopped traditional forest management techniques like controlled burns due to misguided environmental regulations, creating conditions ripe for disaster. Once again, creating that tinderbox. If you do not burn off in a controlled burn the underbrush of a forest, you basically are creating a tinderbox, and that's exactly what they've been doing. I don't get it. The manipulation of weather. Let's not forget, we've been playing with the weather for over 50 years through methods like cloud seeding. Yet, we're supposed to believe that climate change is our sole doing. Earth's climate over millions and even billions of years naturally cycles, unaffected by our minor tweaks. Cyclical climate and cosmic balance. Long before industrialization, Earth's climate swung between extremes, suggesting that human influence is just a drop in the ocean of cosmic balance and natural cycles. Starlink saves lives, not just the planet. Musk's SpaceX Starlink isn't about saving the planet from climate change, it's about saving people. By keeping communication lines open, it's a lifeline during these crises, showing that technology can mitigate human suffering, not just argue over causes. In the end, while politicians like Sanders peddle their climate change stories, Elon Musk takes a different route with SpaceX Starlink, proving that what we need is action and not just talk. Starlink isn't about debating climate change, it's about direct, tangible aid. By providing internet where it's desperately needed, Musk cuts through the political fog, offering not just connectivity, but a beacon of hope amid California's wildfires. Through Starlink, Musk isn't saving the planet, he's saving its people. So, while I don't agree with everything in this article, I agree with the majority of it. The whole thing with this Bernie Sanders thing, I looked it up just to see, what are they talking about? What is going on? What did he say? And sure damn enough, I found on X, because that's what I do, I'm constantly researching stuff. On X, Bernie Sanders writes this. He says, 80,000 people told to evacuate. Blazes 0% contained, 8 months since the area seen rain. The scale of damage and loss is unimaginable. Climate change is real, not a hoax. Donald Trump must treat this like an existential crisis. It is. Everything is an existential crisis, an existential that's, the buzzwords. Anyways, this is what he said, and I guess this is where they pulled some of this information from this article. This is the kind of stuff, when I read it, it's like, these politicians just love to hear them speak, like on a pulpit, and the majority of them are just inept. They don't have common sense, right? They might have book smarts, they went to law school, but the majority of them are lawyers because that's what they do. And then they go into politics, but they literally have no common sense. Just because you're smart, that doesn't mean that you have common sense and wisdom. These people lack wisdom. They just don't get it. They can't see the forest from the trees. They're very myopic. They just tunnel into the tree. They can't see the broader view. And in this article, it kind of discussed the broader view. It looks at it a little bit differently. And I like that. I was thinking about this whole manipulating the weather thing. I'm like, that just sounds like hoax. That sounds like just complete craziness. Manipulating the weather? Is that even possible? And what I found is yes. And they've been doing it for quite some time. And this is proven. I was just in awe. I knew it was like a possibility, but it just kind of felt a little bit weird, like hokey, like, can we actually manipulate the weather? And yeah, so I found an article, and it was actually 2 paragraphs. I just want to read these to you because it gives you a little bit more information, because that's what I do. I like looking this stuff up. I want to know, I want to get the underpinnings of stuff. Once again, the why behind things. Anyways, this says this: for over half a century, humans have been meddling with the weather, using techniques like cloud seeding to coax rain from the skies. Operations like Project Cirrus in the late 1940s attempted to steer hurricanes, and Operation Popeye during the Vietnam War aimed to prolong the monsoon season, both showing early efforts of weather control. Cloud seeding, which involves dispersing substances like silver iodide into the clouds to create precipitation, has been practiced across the globe, from the United States to the United Arab Emirates, who have been cloud seeding since the 2000s to increase rainfall by 30% annually. So this works, right? The United Arab Emirates have been doing it since the 2000s, early 2000s, and they're getting about 30% more rain doing so. Yet, we're constantly told that climate change is solely our fault. The Earth's climate has cycled through warm and cold phases for millions, if not billions of years, long before human intervention. Geological records show ice ages and warm periods with natural fluctuations that dwarf our attempts at weather modification. These cycles suggest that while we might nudge the weather, the grand dance of the Earth's climate operates on a scale beyond our minor tweaks, driven by solar activity, ocean currents, and other cosmic forces. The history of weather manipulation underscores a truth often overlooked. Human influence on weather, while significant, is but a small note in the symphony of Earth's climate history. 100%. So I just think that it's very interesting how you see politicians, instead of trying to do something, right, just yap. That's all they do is just yap and yap and yap. They just love to just hear themselves just yapping. But when we see Elon Musk with SpaceX Starlink, like I've said for the last 45 months, this is something that's going to be amazing. It's going to be something grand. It's going to be something that will save people on the planet. And that's exactly what's going on. Now we see the DTC service, which is the direct-to-cell service, where you don't even need a SpaceX Starlink dish anymore. You could just use an unmodified phone that gets 5G or even LTE, be able to now text for help, or even in the next few months be able to make a phone call with no cell coverage at all, using a satellite overhead, one of Elon Musk's SpaceX Starlink satellites that have been modified with E-Node Bs, which are basically like, let's call them modems that turn those satellites into cell towers on orbit. Very cool stuff. But once again, this is doing something proactively and reactively, but doing something beneficially and not talking about it. That's what ends up happening once again with all of these politicians. And they're nonsense, absolute freaking nonsense. A perfect example is with climate change. I live on 5 acres. I'm very about nature and keeping trees. I probably have more trees on my 5 acres than anyone else's property that have horses in my community. All right. I have a lot of trees. I like that. I am a good steward of my property, of my land, right? Whereas we need to be the same way with the planet. But we need to remember also, we are simply just microscopic entities on the mass planet. If she wants to get rid of us at any given time, just like a bacteria or lice or fleas, she's going to eradicate us from it. It's not a big deal, okay? Once again, these things are cyclical. They're constantly ebb and flowing, hots and colds and hots and colds. That's just the way it is, and it's been going on for 1 billion years. And like what they're alluding to here, what we do is so microscopic on the mass scope of things. Once again, these politicians can't see the forest for the trees. They can't just back up and look at the big picture. They just do this thing. Anyways, I think it's interesting. I want to know what you think. Now, obviously, it's more of a topic that is going to polarize. Some people are going to say, yes, we need to do this, or no, we don't need to do this, or whatever it is. But I wanted to bring it to your attention because I really like what Elon Musk is doing, right? And I really don't like what the California government is doing. Because when I talk to firefighter friends of mine, they always say, listen, we do these controlled burns all the time. We burn back the dried up patches that will turn into a tinderbox if we don't. So they burn it back. They burn it back because they're controlled burns at that point. And the forest loves it. It can breathe again instead of all these piled and piled and piled. Just imagine what a 6-foot pile of dried out pine needles would be like. You put one match and the thing would just go whoosh. Just like when you burn your Christmas tree. I burn mine. I don't know if you burn yours. But when you do, what happens? The oils and it just goes like this, literally in a second. It's a blaze. And that's what's going on over there. Their water policy and water management are abysmal, and that's why it's dried out the way it is. And you have this lack of burning or controlled burning the forest because of environmental issues. They don't want to pollute the air. Well, now look at the pollution. We're looking at about 35,000 acres of land burnt so far. 35,000. Over 100,000 people have, I mean, it's just catastrophic because of stupidity. Yeah. Anyways, that's my thoughts. What say you? Down below, I would love to hear what you think. If you don't want to put anything down there because you're shy, you don't want to say anything, all right? You don't want to be confrontational. I get it. Put an emoji down there. Put anything. Put a flame. Put whatever you want down there. At least I know that you got to the end of the video. I would appreciate that. If you liked the video, throw it a thumbs up. If you didn't, throw it a thumbs down. That's fine. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not. If you are, thank you. And finally, head over to my website, JCristina.com, where you can find all the photography tools I've invented for you and me over the many years, and my merch and my tees and my books and my shirts. Book over here. Pick something up over at JCristina.com. Help support me and my family. Many blessings to you and your family. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay connected, and we'll see you in the next one. Love you all.